Long 10 seconds, Dave.
I mean, look, we're live now, so.
Oh, okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. We picked up a hitchhiker.
That's right.
I feel like I gotta fix your camera a bit, Josh. Let me just you keep doing you, man. I'm gonna fix you up good. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's better.
You got me good?
Oh yeah, dude, you're super good.
Yes. Yeah, dude. Imagine my disappointment. I talked to you earlier, and I said, and I thought I was catching up to you on the pod. I mean, on the episodes.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought I was like, I had seen like 6 or 7 episodes.
You just hadn't.
Dude, I had not. I had to watch 5 episodes today. I do not want to do that again.
Yeah. Well, don't.
I'm gonna try not to. Like I really thought I had watched way more.
That's how it goes sometimes. But you know what? We're here. We're here to talk about Game of Thrones, season 2. Season 2. Part 2.
Yep.
Really good season. I
God,
thoroughly enjoyed it.
I forget. I've seen the first 5 or 6 seasons, probably 6 or 7 times.
God, that's too many. I mean,
Well,
it's not too many, but it's a lot.
Yeah, what we used to do is me and the wife is we would watch all of it
Leading up to the next season.
To the next season.
Well, that gets progressively harder.
That's why we didn't. That's why I have only seen season 6 twice, season 7 twice, and season 8 once.
Yeah, I feel like after the first 4, I don't know if I'd be down to do it like again.
I know it became one of those things. You know, it's what you did.
Got it.
Yes,
got it.
but by the time we got towards the end, we're like, I don't know if we're gonna have time to watch all this shit.
This is actually only the 3rd time that I've seen season 2. At one point, like 4 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna rewatch. This was right after season 8. I was like, I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing, and I think I got to like season 5 or 4, and I burnt myself out, and I was like, okay, I'm done. But now I have the podcast to motivate me, so I've only seen the first 4 seasons, I think, twice. Well, now I've seen the first 2 seasons 3 times, but yeah. So, Josh, how many times have you seen this? Well, I think you muted yourself to answer. Because you're unmuted now. Now,
Twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't want to say forget because it's good when you watch it, but you just forget like how good stuff is until you rewatch it. And it's been I haven't watched any Game of Thrones since basically the show ended. So this is my first watch of any Game of Thrones since
the end of season 8.
Yeah, which is what, 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah, I was like, I think season 8 was airing like the first year I had my current job, so I always kind of associate it with that. So I think it was like about at least 3 years ago, like 2019, 2018, something like that.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
The show is so good.
Yeah. So, we ready for this?
Yep.
All right. Well, Josh, look, I'm not gonna lie. It was fun doing the intro on the previous podcast we did without you, but look, man, you're the best in the biz, so I'm gonna leave it to you.
That's why we pay you the big bucks.
You can do it.
Nah, you got it, bro. You got it. I don't want the job. That's all you.
Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents Game of Thrones Season 2. I'm your co-host, the Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami.
And David Disaster.
We're back.
We are
Feels
back.
Like so long.
How's it going?
We are right back. Good stuff.
I feel like
Welcome
I missed
back,
the first
Josh.
podcast.
You
It's
did.
Okay.
No.
Hey, man,
okay.
when work calls, man, when work calls, one pays the bills and one doesn't. You gotta choose wisely.
Yeah, and you chose poorly.
I wish this one paid the bills.
Yeah. But hey, look, man. But you know what? You're here. You're amongst friends, and we're talking about the greatest show that's ever existed. So
The boys, right? So I can get
no,
my
no,
thoughts
no,
on
no,
the,
no. You missed that one. No, we're here. We're talking about the second greatest
the
show.
other greatest show.
Yeah, the one A, one B. You know.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Look, Love Sausage ain't in this one. I'm pretty sure.
Isn't it? He's in season 3, right?
I mean, look, Tyrion is probably the closest thing according to all accounts of the show. So.
No, I thought that was Podrick.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Podrick.
you're right. You're right. Podrick does be.
Podrick the Hung, I think, is his surname, right?
I forget about Podrick, man. It's so silly.
That shit is so it's priceless because Tyrion can't figure it out, and he's like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Because all the
They're
ladies
like,
want
so
to be
they so they did all that stuff, and they gave you your money back,
Yeah.
and then they pour him a glass of wine. You must tell me how you did this.
Dude, they're like super like into this.
I know him and Bronn are super into it.
And this dude's got a dong as big as Tyrion. Like well, that's how it gets done.
This is not a
All
leg.
right. Well, hey, hopefully you guys checked out our season 1 review. If you're wondering what's going on and where are we going so far back into time here, there's a new Game of Thrones show coming out. I'm sure most people that are listening to this probably know that. House of the Dragon, coming out August 21st, and so we thought it'd be a good time to, have a little retrospective of the original series.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we're doing this
we're
one
going season by season.
Yeah. Gonna do it all the way until I guess House of Dragon, huh? And we're doing this pod a little bit different than how we usually review TV shows, mainly because this show is everybody who has seen Game of Thrones already knows all this stuff. So we decided to just come up with a bunch of questions to kind of answer that reflect kind of the season as a whole, right?
Pertinent questions.
Yeah, pertinent questions. Stuff that maybe get us thinking about things differently than we would have had we watched the show fresh. So yeah, do it a little bit different.
Yeah, but we're still, we still signed up. We still, we're still holding Jason to his contract here, so we still expect some tasty recaps of every season. So, Jason, why don't you go ahead and hit us with that tasty ass recap?
Oh yeah, episode 1 of season 2. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, episode by episode. I'll be done in about 45 minutes, guys.
All right. Well, I'm leaving.
Okay,
Sorry,
so-
Josh.
So since this is a little bit different, I don't go too far, into the realm of the recap here. It is 10 hours worth of television. So I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what season 2 is all about. The fallout of the execution of Ned Stark drives nearly every storyline of season 2, sparking what would be called the War of the Five Kings. Stannis Baratheon, the true heir of the throne, brother of the late Robert. His younger brother Renly Baratheon, who's the more beloved. Joffrey Baratheon, whose claim is tenuous at best considering the story of his bloodline. Robb Stark, the son of Ned. And now, King in the North. And Balon Greyjoy, the pronounced king of the Iron Islands.
The Iron
Captain-
Islands.
Yeah, the Iron Islands. The capture of Jaime Lannister also drives some of the stories in an attempting basically broker pieces of by exchange, all to no avail. You have Tyrion as current Hand of the King for most of the season, attempting to forge alliances to strengthen the kingdom from the coming war that will arrive at the doorsteps imminently. Through sorcery, Renly falls, and his bannerman joins Stannis. Through great planning and a just-in-time save, Stannis' army is defeated at the Battle of Blackwater. In the far north, Jon Snow is ultimately captured by the wildlings, and in Essos, the Mother of Dragon learns a valuable lesson, just how difficult winning the Game of Thrones may actually be.
Yeah.
All right. Premiere as always, Fossil. Nice work.
Dracarys. That
you.
was fire. That was a bad joke. I was saving that too. Like
You had that written down all day.
I had it in my notes. I was like, say Dracarys after Jason's intro.
So listen, while we're talking about Daenerys Targaryen over here, let's talk about the worst storyline of the season. Let's just start there because it's
a Daenerys
for
sweep.
me, it involves Daenerys.
Dude, I don't care. I forgot how much Daenerys is a whiny person, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
her storyline for this season is just nothing happens. Like her story doesn't start to pick up steam until next season when she gets the Unsullied. In my opinion.
Season 3, Danny is lit, as the kids say today.
Yeah, I think you could argue that they planted some seeds for her to have her, heel turn in season 8, if you will. There were some seeds planted here, but I feel like at the time most people just attributed that to her just being like just generally immature and not understanding like her situation. I don't think people took that as, oh, she's a crazy Targaryen who always inevitably becomes crazy. Like, I don't, I'm sure that's how the showrunners believe that's what is happening, but I don't know. She just comes across as kind of bratty, and yeah. I mean, look, the people in the city are mean to her and they take advantage of her for sure, but she's still kind of a brat.
Yeah,
I think she's. We all know. I mean, we've seen the end of the show, so we know how it ends. But we all know that, like, pretty much season 3 to 7, even 3 to most of 8, like, the Dany storyline is the storyline. It's really good, and so this was something I forgot about coming into the rewatch. Was I forgot about this whole journey to Karth and her dealing with the richest guy in Karth that, as it turns out, doesn't have any money.
The warlocks.
Yeah.
Who they can't even cast a summoning portal.
So it was just very strange. It was a very strange storyline, and in going back and really being excited about her again, that was probably my biggest disappointment of the season.
Yep. So
yeah, it was definitely the drag storyline. Whenever that storyline comes on, you're like, I could probably skip some of this.
I think I remember liking it more the first go round, but mainly because I was kind of like, oh man, what could happen next? And so like, yeah, you have that benefit of not knowing, but yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it doesn't hold up well.
Yeah. So Dave, you mentioned earlier something about a face turn or a heel turn.
Yeah.
And this season is great because I mean obviously it continues to expand on season 1, and we're seeing some character development out there, right? From Jaime and Tyrion and Dany and all those folks, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of got me thinking because I mean I feel like Tyrion really has like probably the biggest face turn this year. Like he really becomes.
I mean, this was like
he was
his
already
season.
like a show. Yeah, he was already like a show favorite. I think in season 1, but like I think Tyrion owns season 2.
Absolutely, and it's kind of unfortunate that like we do get back to this sort of, but man, I forgot how early Tyrion kind of steals the show. I thought it was season 3, but it's actually season 2.
Yeah, and he really, I mean, he really hangs on. He really hangs on to it as well. Like, even though like he ends up becoming, I don't want to say a servant of Danny, but ends up working for Danny. Like, he still kind of holds his own like weight in terms of a character in the show. He never loses. What he's got, right?
Yeah, he ultimately becomes the hand of Danny as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he rises the ranks, but like in this season,
he was prime.
He's in charge.
I mean, he was outsmarting everyone in King's Landing left and right.
Yeah.
And when the Hound bitched out, and when
fuck the king,
Joffrey, fuck the king,
fuck the king,
and when
God.
Joffrey ran with his tail between his legs, Tyrion stood up, rallied his men, knowing that he was probably leading them all, including himself, to his death.
Yeah,
so good.
Except for Podrick, but so it got me thinking about just other TV characters, or maybe even I mean, this terminology obviously comes from wrestling, maybe even wrestling if you so choose. But what is like the biggest TV or even wrestling face heel turn that you guys can remember? I'll tell you the first one that comes to mind for me is in terms of wrestling is Shawn Michaels kicking Marty Jannetty's face through the damn through the barbershop window, man. I just thought that was a fucking all-time heel turn. And I was a big Rockers fan, man. That hurt my heart.
When Stone Cold turned,
dude, you stole mine.
And became,
that was low-hanging fruit.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
But it's
so are you talking about the WrestleMania 13 double turn with him and Brett?
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm talking about when when
17.
he turned. Yeah, I'm talking about when he turned and went in league with Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. WrestleMania 17. That was.
To me, that was big, because I would say probably the biggest one has got to be that's out there is like Hulk Hogan turn. I wasn't watching wrestling at that time.
Well, I wasn't watching WCW at the time, so.
Yeah, I didn't experience that, so I couldn't speak to that one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely what you said, Jason. It's the WrestleMania 17. He turned, turned on the on the Rock and everything.
Yeah. Another one that I did experience was Macho Man turning on Hogan over Miss Elizabeth.
What does he say about his eyes? You got lust in your eyes, or something.
I can't do. I'll do a terrible impersonation, but yeah.
So,
see the lust in your eyes.
In the interest of being different, without making this go on too long, I do remember a face turn that was good. It's if you remember the Right to Censor, when they had the Dudleys as part of Right to Censor.
Oh, yeah.
When the Dudleys, Bubba Ray was on the mic, and he goes, "If putting people through tables is wrong, I don't want to be right." And they took off the Right to Censor uniforms and put them all through a table. And that stable pretty much never recovered after that, I think.
No. That's a deep cut. That's a good one.
Stevie Richards.
Bringing it to Game of Thrones, we do have a turn in this season with Theon Greyjoy.
Yes, a heel turn.
Yeah.
For sure.
Big time heel turn.
Yep. And I forgot how much, I forgot how much I hated Theon at the time. But the memory started coming back of how much I hated him. And dude, it's like he kept saying he's like, they kept me captive. I was a prisoner. Dude, look, what do you mean? Yes, I'm sure you were a prisoner, but dude, they
they raised you.
They raised you up. You
I
were.
feel like they treated Theon better than fucking Jon Snow.
For sure.
Absolutely. And he's everybody keeps telling me I should be thankful.
It's like, dude, your own dad is a piece of shit. Very obviously. He goes, he's just like, well, you're Ironborn. Dude, just fucking get out of here with that shit, dude.
Yeah. I remember not to go too far ahead here because this is more next season kind of stuff, but I remember feeling bad for Theon. The first time I watched this, now I'm rewatching it, I'm like, you deserve every fucking thing you get, Reek. You suck.
The dude literally burned and killed 2 random children.
young children.
Two
Like-
And then
randos.
he has to take. He takes 3 swings to behead the quartermaster.
Yeah.
The guy who's
And
talking
it's
shit.
Still not enough. So after the 3rd hack, he actually just kicks his head off of his body.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Then he gives that rousing speech. And then
That
they
was
just
a
knock
good
him.
speech.
It was
It
really
was
good.
a speech.
That's Theon's best moment in the show, I think.
And
I
then,
think so.
And then they knock him out, and they're like, "It was a good speech. I didn't want
He goes,
to interrupt
He
him."
was like, I thought he would never shut up.
Yeah. That and him finger blasting his sister. Those are the 2 best scenes for Theon. Okay. Hey, I had one more heel turn, and then we're going to go on with... This is without any other comment here, but Boba Fett. Big time heel turn with that last show he came out with.
Yeah, because
All
that's
right.
awful.
Yeah. So let's move on here. What was the best storyline for you guys for this season?
I mean,
There's
outside
so
of
many good ones.
outside of Tyrion's, like just overall taking over of King's Landing, it's hard not to pick that one.
I'll let you guys go.
I mean, look, to me, one of the things I've noticed throughout the rewatch is how much of these storylines, in hindsight, ultimately don't end up being important, like to the grand picture, right? Like, yes, they set the stage for other things, but Rob doesn't make it. Spoiler.
But that's like Rob's my choice for best storyline this season, though, because it just feels good to have a Stark fucking win, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Jon Snow, just because it has the benefit of like this is the storyline that does kind of matter.
Jon Snow.
I like Jon Snow's storyline because again, it's the only.
There is no storyline.
Well, it's the only story beat that actually like makes it to the end of the show, with the White Walkers and all of that stuff. So
I wish Bran would have warged a dragon and actually like had that dragon kill Jon Snow.
Well, hey, look, I wish Arya would have made some decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit deep cut.
Don't you say Sam's storyline? That's some shit you would say.
I mean, Dave, does anybody have a better story than Samwell Tarly? No, he should have been king at the end. Anyway, no, I don't know if it's my favorite, but every time I watch it, I enjoy every second of it. And it's the Arya Stark storyline, specifically at Harrenhal.
Her time with Tywin?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
I had that.
It's the only time that you see a humanized Tywin Lannister who has no reason, really, to have some of the conversations he has with Arya. But the fact that he doesn't know who she is, she knows who he is, and he's giving her the time of day just because the way that they interact. It's fantastic. Like, and to what Dave said, like, this never goes anywhere. Like, he never finds out that was Arya. Arya never kills Tywin. Like, nothing ever happens with this. She thinks Tywin leaves Harrenhal to go fight Robb, when in actuality he goes back to King's Landing to make the save.
Yeah.
And it's just, but I love their storyline. Their interactions are just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good choice, Fossil. I almost wish I'd had that one instead. But, speaking about different families and Tywin and Arya and those guys, just kind of an evergreen question here for the rest of the seasons. But, Dave, I'm taking your setup there because I enjoyed it. Which families advanced or regressed the most this year? What do you think?
I knew this question was coming, and I've had a hard time figuring it out. Because on one hand, with Robb's storyline, the Starks are progressing.
Yes.
Yep.
While simultaneously, Arya's further off the beaten path, and Sansa by the end is no longer even going to be the queen. The Baratheons rise because they have 2 people vying for the throne. One of them ends up dead. One of them ends up defeated.
Well. By the way, there's a Baratheon on the throne too.
Correct. In name, not by blood.
How do you know?
Because Jamie be smashing.
Yeah, that's true. We know what he does for love, and
Yes.
and his sister. Yes.
So,
I mean,
a tough one.
I mean, look,
This season,
I think as far as progressed, I think you go Starks. Because
That's what I have.
the young wolf. I mean, Tywin says it himself. He hasn't lost a battle.
Right.
He also
And he's scared. Like Tywin at this point is maybe not scared, but he's
concerned.
frustrated.
He's paying attention. Yeah.
And he's Rob's not lost a battle. He's gained a queen. Queen of the North or whatever, which turns out was a big fucking
Bad
mistake.
mistake.
But and as far as regressed, I don't even. I mean, you could, like, for a while there, you could argue the Lannisters because they had their backs.
Lannisters are my choice.
Yeah, I think you could definitely make an argument if you go totality. Like, obviously, if you just focus on where episode 10 ends, then obviously there's some stabilization.
Okay.
But I think over the course of a whole season, I think this is an L for the Lannisters. No, not on purpose. Like, that's just how it works.
Yeah. Well, they're fighting the war on 2 fronts.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Baratheon simply because I think Tyrion with Tywin saved the day in the end.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll go. The Baratheons lost.
That's probably
more
probably a fair argument too. They lost Renly and Stannis.
And Renly
lost
dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right. All right. So talking about who's got the right to be the king here, right?
Yeah.
One of the interesting questions that kind of came up through this process was talking about Robert's bastard children, right? So we know that whether you're a bastard or not, you still got royal blood, right?
Yeah.
And you could be a potential issue for anybody, possibly named Joffrey Baratheon.
Sitting on the throne.
Yeah, sitting on the throne. And so we know the order is given to go and find all of Robert Baratheon's bastard children. Yeah, and not just find them, but to
kill them. Dispatch them.
Yeah.
Give them the long sleep.
Yeah. And look, it's not a popular move. I think this is a twofold question. I think one, would you give that order if you're in the position? But two, if you're the guy giving that order, what do you do?
I think this is an easy one for me.
Hey, now, Dave, you need to put yourself in the shoes
well, that's
of Joffrey or Lannister, or what's his name, Janis Slint.
Well, I mean, the question is, what would I do? Not what do I think Joffrey should do, right? So
No. I'm saying, okay, I'm not saying that you're playing Joffrey. I'm just saying you need to put yourself in that time.
Well, that doesn't work for me. The only way I can answer the question is how I feel. There's no way I'm ordering the murder of children. It's just not even remotely going to happen.
What if they're over 15, Dave?
That's the murder. I'm not a murderer, right? So
what if they're 20?
Yeah. No. Look,
25?
if you want to make the argument, if you want to,
Dave, I don't know if you know how the Game of Thrones is played. But you either play the game.
Can I answer the question or what? So
I mean, all I hear is I would never kill anybody.
So I didn't say I wouldn't kill anybody. I said I'm not just going to arbitrarily, commit genocide, right? So
the 20 or so Baratheons.
Now it wasn't 20, by the way. It was well over that. I think it was. I don't remember the exact number, but it was well over 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, Robert got around.
I think that was
He's got
I think that was
super
definitely like documented in the show for sure.
Was that his superpower?
Look, I would wrangle them up and
give them a real stern talking to.
Stash them
Send
away
him to
somewhere.
the wall.
Somewhere. Like
Send him to the wall.
I mean, I would send the like adults to the wall. The children, like the babies, like dude, I'll deal with that later.
When they come of age, then I'll send their ass to the wall.
Yeah, I'll deal with them when they become a factor.
Okay, so my answer would be I would do whatever I would need to do to survive and continue living a decent life. If that's killing kids, I'll kill the kids. But so think about this for a second. What if you're the king and we know Joffrey, let's just use Joffrey as an example. He values entertainment. What if you put together a 20 bastard tournament to come down to the fight for it all, right? And you get the ultimate bastard that wins, and you give him a job somewhere like, in the cabinet, right? You make him like a fucking, make him a king's guard or some shit. I don't know.
My thing is this. Why would Joffrey be concerned with these bastards anyway if he considers them blood related to him anyway? I mean, obviously, I know that Cersei's the one who put in the order, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows he's gonna rule with an iron fist.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have anybody with your blood that could be beloved coming up from the gutters, etc., etc.
You don't want any usurpers.
So if I'm the king, I'm in Joffrey's shoes. I'm sending any of them that would be considered of age to the wall. They have to denounce everything when they go to the wall to take the black, and the rest of the children, when they become of age, they're sent up there as well. But I mean, it was only the boys.
Yeah. Now
probably had another 30 or 40 girls running around somewhere.
Your secondary question of like, what would I do if I was given the order and I'm like a guard or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like that first guard that holding that child. Like,
there's no shot. There's no shot I'm partaking in that. Like,
so you're dead.
I don't know.
I mean, it didn't seem.
You have an early death in the Game of Thrones.
It didn't seem like that guard that couldn't kill a baby was killed. So I'm gonna say that I'm not immediately dead.
Do we ever see that guard again?
That guard doesn't even have a name. So
he's deader. He's deader than fuck, Dave. He's deader than a Star Trek guy in a fucking red suit.
Uniform.
Yeah.
I guess
he's super fucking dead.
I guess what we've learned is I'm not a child murderer. So that's
good for you, Dave.
Yeah.
We'll see how long that lives you in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who else is not a murderer. That's Catelyn Stark. We see Catelyn. She gets put into a tough position, right? Because they get into the fortunate position of capturing the Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister.
Yep.
But we all know that like the Starks are becoming an endangered species, and she really, really, really wants her kids back, particularly Sansa and Arya. And so she agrees to release Jaime into Brienne's care. Right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. Into Brienne's care. And to take him back to King's Landing get the hope, that everybody would honor their agreements and she could get her daughters back. She made this decision without Robb, which, not great. Nope. And after Jaime had already murdered
the Karstark's son.
His cousin.
Karstark's son. Is it cousin or son? I thought it was a son.
It's a son.
It's a son. Jaime murders his cousin, the Lannister, and then Karstark's son comes in and say, "Yo, what the fuck?" And then he murders that dude too.
He kills him. Yeah, he snaps his neck with a chain.
Yeah. So, it puts Catelyn in a really bad position, but she lets him go, and it really creates a big problem because then you're creating a lot of dissension in the men. The Karstarks end up fucking burning out and leaving, and that's a pretty healthy chunk of
their army,
of Robb's army. Yeah. So the question comes back to given a second chance here, what what should Catelyn have done? Should Catelyn have let them kill Jaime like they all wanted to do?
Yes.
Should she have just held him prisoner and, continue to have that leverage? Because ultimately we know Jaime goes back and ends up fighting against him.
But part of the problem in this decision is that she doesn't know that the Lannisters only have Sansa.
Right.
And the other problem is that releasing Jaime for the girls gets the Starks nothing. Because in this era, the women are basically just pawned off as tokens to garner, alliances.
Dude, Sansa is already about to be on her third marriage. I'm up into season 5. Okay, so she's about to marry fucking
Littlefinger.
Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, Ramsay.
Yeah, the great Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she hasn't even messed with Littlefinger yet. That has yet to happen.
Yeah.
She still hasn't married Tyrion yet in this season.
Yeah,
so it's like she's still got a lot of marriages to go.
Yeah. So the issue with Caitlyn's decision is that really the bigger decision now in this moment is what's going on at Winterfell. She makes the absolute worst decision in allowing Jaime to go to be set free.
I mean, sticking with the question, Josh, I would say I think the right call is you don't put the value of the one over the value of the many, right? So the ultimate thing, you're fighting a war. Yes, you want your children, but this is a war that's bigger than you, regardless of who you are. I think it is rather selfish of her to, ultimately, yes, her kids are alive and she wants to see them, but this dude's son was just killed and he's wanting justice. And if he really controls, 40-50% of the army, the least she could have done is honor her word that, hey, look, let's wait till Robb gets back and Robb decides what we do. She couldn't even do that. So
Jason, you hear that? Now when it pleases Dave, now he's a murderer.
Yeah,
I see you, Dave. I see you.
I'll say this.
He's not a child.
Yeah,
Neither were the 20-year-old fucking kids of Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, I would say
they're totally innocent, though.
As far as how I would have handled it, the issue really is that Caitlyn. What bothers
Will you quit calling her Caitlyn? God damn it, it's Catelyn.
It is Catelyn.
Catelyn. The problem with Catelyn Stark is that she does this behind Robb's back, knowing the ramifications of everything that she's doing. But then, literally, the next episode turns around, bemoaning and chiding Robb about marrying this other woman. It's like, y'all must not, the apple doesn't fall far from this tree. Because y'all both be making some stupid ass decisions. Should have killed Jaime.
Okay.
Rolled the dice with Sansa and Arya being in King's Landing and ended the King's Lair.
All right. Well, I got one last question here, and then we'll get into some rapid fire questions. But, Dave, I thought this was a great question that you gave us here. So, if we remember back, one of the cool things about the season, right, was we get to see, even though there's not much to the story, we do get to spend a lot of time with Arya. And Arya does do a good deed for a gentleman named Jaqen
Rajar, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Jakar.
Drakars. That means fire. So she does a good deed for this guy, and in return, he basically tells her, "Hey, look, anytime you need me, just give the man a name, and that person will be dead."
Yep, 3 names.
So, 3 names. Yep. And look, in the grand scheme of things, these 3 people look, they served a purpose in that moment for Arya to keep her from getting caught by Tywin for stealing the map, I believe it was, or the letter or whatever it was, and just a couple other people. But in hindsight, if you could go back and be Arya, or if Arya could go back after knowing what she knows and choose any three names, what are the three names that would really kind of be like the biggest impact, right? Which ones could have ended the war or maybe even turned the tides?
So I'll go first here. Since I kind of thought of the question, so I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I think it's all. I think you go with all the three main Lannisters at the time, because you have to think about what was going on at this time in the war. So I think you pick Tywin Lannister because that accomplishes a couple of things. One, he's at Harrenhal, and so he could be killed really quickly, which could buy her enough time to maybe escape in the chaos. Okay, so she might actually live. But also Tywin is the one who rescues King's Landing from Stannis. So if Tywin isn't there to broker the deal with the Tyrells, Stannis might sack King's Landing and save Sansa.
The other story that fixes is Tywin is also the one who negotiates the deal
with Walder Frey.
Walder Frey with the Red Wedding.
Which potentially saves Robb. Okay, then you choose Cersei, and you choose Joffrey, because Joffrey's just a piece of shit, needs to go. But you also need Cersei gone, because you know what would happen if Joffrey died. We saw it, right?
Yeah,
she becomes the queen, and it's a nightmare. I think with those three gone, in this moment, in this particular part of the story, I think 70% of everything is taken care of. Because I think Robb survives, and his army stays intact. And then Stannis takes over King's Landing. Robb has already said he doesn't want the throne. All he wants is his sister, right? His sisters, plural.
And to kill Joffrey.
And to kill Joffrey. Now Joffrey's dead, Cersei's dead. And with Tywin dying, I think Arya has a shot of getting out of Harrenhal alive in the chaos if she leaves at the right moment.
And if you kill those three, the most likely to ascend,
Tyrion.
I know it would be Tyrion or Tywin. Either one of those is smart enough to broker a deal that would end the war.
Well, yeah. You're choosing Tywin, so I mean Tyrion would be the only one left in King's Landing. Jaime's still in the wind at this point. I mean, so he's not in a position to really do anything. By the time he gets anywhere, the war's over. So I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to hear y'all's decisions on that, assuming it's different.
Jason, you want to go?
Dave had talked to me about this question earlier, so and I agree. If you take out those three, you essentially end quite a few of the storylines that take place, that kind of filter on. But from the devil's advocate side, if you just take out Stannis, Robb, and Jon, you pretty much end the entire show.
Why is Arya doing that?
Oh, you just said three names. Any three names to end the war.
Oh, but yeah.
Well, this is more from Arya's perspective.
Oh, I know. It'd be the same names that Dave already gave. So I'm just going devil's advocate. Now you take out all the good guys from the other side of the coin, and you pretty much you end the show.
I see what you're doing there. Okay, that's if Arya was just hope, just gave up hope and was just go.
If Arya was listen, I gotta go to another show next season, so let's fucking end this.
Yeah.
Yes. Disney's calling me. You got
Yeah.
Star Wars on the other side.
Josh, what you got?
I mean, look, Dave's answers are the right answers, but if I was just doing it for shits and gigs, I would say this would definitely be Cersei. I would go with the Mountain just to save Oberyn's life.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, and look, that makes her buddy the Hound feel a little bit better if the Mountain's dead. And look, just for my own personal enjoyment, so maybe we get a better ending to the show, I would say choose Bran the Broken.
Yeah.
So
because nobody has a better story than Bran.
So I had an alternate. I had one alternate. What if you don't kill Joffrey? And obviously Arya doesn't know this person, but I was like, how do you just really end the show? Like on the spot, show's done. I think Tywin has to be, because Tywin's the cause of too many of the good guys to die. So Tywin is a lock, and I think Cersei's a lock as well. I don't think those two. I
think Joffrey's going to die regardless of this situation or not. Somebody's going to.
I agree. Joffrey. I agree with you. So I think Joffrey is the one that you could maybe that's the flexible one. If Arya was just trying to end it all, what if you go Daenerys as the third?
I thought about that one.
And now there's no
threat. Certainly saves about 1 billion people in King's Landing.
But also no dragons to fight the White Walkers. Like, it doesn't solve the White Walker problem, but it solves the human problems, right? So,
Well, that's a funny thing, because a conversation between Tyrion and Varys happens very similar to that, where Varys is telling him, "Hey, Daenerys still lives, and she has dragons. It'll be years before they can actually do any damage." And Tyrion's like, can we just do one crisis at a time here?
Yeah. So, anyway, I just thought that was look, I think we've all seen that Arya definitely picked wrong. At the end of the day.
Well, it's probably the equivalent of somebody having 3 wishes, and when they're 20, and then when they're 40, they're like, fuck. I definitely would have chosen differently.
Look, if you
have $100.
If you have 3 wishes and one of them ain't to hit the next big lottery, I mean, you're doing it wrong, pretty much.
Yeah. So, all right. So, just got 4 rapid fire questions here. We don't need any explanation with these. Just quick answers here. Favorite character of the season?
Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion.
I went with Bronn. I enjoyed Bronn's his whole thing this season.
Bronn is great.
I'm guessing you like the cut of his jib, Josh.
I do like the cut of his jib. Some might say. Least favorite character?
Joffrey, probably. I forgot how much I hated Joffrey.
I went with Maester Pycelle.
Oh God, he's a creep.
That guy's pretty bad. Yeah, he is creepy. I'm gonna go with Joffrey. Well, he is despicable.
Damn, couple of low hanging fruit motherfuckers over here.
I know.
Okay,
kind of like Pycelle's fruit.
I've got death by rat.
Yeah, me and Dave actually talked about that yesterday.
That was today.
We were trying to figure out the dynamics. If
is that even possible?
Whether
is the short version
actually
of that
is possible.
I don't know if a rat is strong enough to really do that in real life.
I'm gonna go with.
They got sharp little teeth, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a quick death that was brutal when it happens.
Is it the rock when it falls on that dude's head?
Oh, that is brutal. No,
that's my pick.
I had that as an honorable mention. That's a good one.
This is the scene where the Gold Cloaks return with some bannermen and take down all of the young men that are headed to the wall. And you have the one young boy who's probably 13 or 14, and they shot him and they got him with an arrow in the leg. And he's like, "I need help. You're gonna have to carry me." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll carry you." And he sticks out his hand. The boy reaches out and he grabs his hand, and as he pulls the kid up, stabs him with Arya's sword needle.
Yeah,
and
in the neck.
Yeah, yep. And he just starts choking on his own blood, and it's like, God.
Thanks for reminding me about that, Jason. I appreciate you.
That was a brutal one.
Kid. That was.
But mine was the rock in the Blackwater episode. Right in front of Stannis too. It's just splatters everywhere.
The only other one I had was the guy who goes to take a piss in the woods, and the dire wolf just comes and tears him apart.
That's a good one too.
All right, last question here. I think this may be one that we kind of can go to every week here, but who's the best new character introduced this season? There's a lot of choices. I wrote down a few, so I don't know if you guys need some help in remembering some of the new characters this season, or if you feel confident.
Podrick, I believe, was new in this season, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or more prominent, at least. Shay.
Brianna Tarth, Marjorie Tyrell, Yara Greyjoy, Stannis, Davos, the Red Witch.
Fine ass Marjorie Tyrell.
I'm gonna probably go Brienne, but that's probably due to the hindsight of knowing where her character ends up. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, she's so good, and like she's just like a badass constantly. So it's like hard not to pick her. And
is she a badass though? Because she did let Renly die.
Bro, like that was a shadow monster. Like, what is she supposed to do with that?
I mean, I do like the part where she has Jamie by a rope or whatever, and she's about to cut down those 3 wenches that the North had strung up for sleeping with lions, and he's just standing there, and she cuts down those 3 dudes.
Well, and Jamie's like super impressed the whole time. He's like,
and
he doesn't try to run.
Shit. And the best part, that's another one that kind of made
slow
death was the slow death, because she asked them, and hopefully you gave them a quick death, and they were like, well, 2 of them, and so she has them on the ground, pinned to the ground. She's like, well, 2 of them, and she just like slowly guts this fucking guy.
Yeah.
So it's Brianna Tarth for me.
So favorite for you is Brienne. What about you, Josh? Who's your favorite?
For me, this season, even though I hate the storyline, I would go Sir Davos, the Onion Knight.
He's very good.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Like, he's trying to walk this line with Stannis, where Stannis is this man of God or whatever, blah blah blah. But then Sir Davos is like he's smart. Yeah, he's seasoned enough to know that he's got to kind of operate in the gray area, right? Like, if he's going to be the hand for Stannis can continue to be this, this high and mighty guy, while Sir Davos has got to make sure all this stuff happens, right? So he's out there trying to rally some of the other pirates and, not pirates necessarily, but smugglers. There you go. Trying to get those guys together to help the cause. So I enjoy his storyline. Yeah, he was good this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Josh with the Onion Knight. He's one of my favorite characters for the show. He is a smuggler, born of nothing, lived in Flea Bottom, who's worked his way up. His story with Stannis is interesting to say the least, because it's through the punishment that his lord extolled upon him that actually makes him, he turns his life around, which is a strange storyline. But he reminds me a little bit of Ned Stark in the fact that he has a certain code that he just refuses to bend on.
Yeah.
While at the same time, he is Stannis' man.
Yep.
If this is what you want, this is what I'll do, but this is what you should be doing.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe we didn't cover everything in there, but I think those questions covered most of the top end storylines there for the show. So, look, I hope you guys enjoy this. I really do, because we got 6 more episodes of this shit. If you don't like it, but hey, come back next week. We have season 3 of Game of Thrones. We finally have the next episode of Metalhead's Journey, where we're going to talk about albums 45 through 41 in the top 50. So that's something to look forward to next week.
Yep.
Venom. Yeah. So hey, in the meantime, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
Live long and prosper. See ya.